intro. Say hello.
Hello. What's happening, everyone? We are live at 5 on a Wednesday. So this is super exciting, man. We've got so many new great things to talk about. And I'm glad to be back. It's been a great, productive summer. I am going to talk about what's been going on, but I want to start by playing. I have a new play along that I'm super excited about. I made a new record with Eric Krasno. This is the new Krasno More project with Eric Finland on organ. And we went up and spent a few days at Levon Helm's studio and recorded a record. And now we went and mixed it with Jim Scott, legendary Jim Scott, who worked a lot with Tom Petty and the Red Hot Chili Peppers. And we got to mix it with him. So the record is done. It needs to be mastered. But I did some minus drums play-alongs. So I'm going to go ahead and play along to this Amy Winehouse song that we recorded, and I'm going to be laying into this Lunar Crash. Nick, can you give me the overhead? This is the latest rendition of a prototype of the Lunar Crash. This is the concept shop version, and this is actually going to be available, I believe, August 29th. So at the end of this month, this will be available at Zildjian.com on the concept shop, in the concept shop. So if you've been wanting one of these, go to Zildjian.com and you can pick one up in the concept shop at the end of this month. We sent some of these out to some artist buddies of mine, so we should be seeing some posts from them soon too about this. So lots of exciting stuff, and we'll talk more, but right now we're going to play to this tune. So Nick, if you wouldn't mind starting that tune for me, and I'm going to go ahead and play. Thank y'all so very much for tuning in.
Stand by here.
We're going to start that over because I didn't hear the click,
Yeah.
so that's no problem.
Yeah. That'll be like
Here we go again. Check it out. One more once.
You ready now?
I'm ready now.
Here we go.
Excellent. Nick, is your lav off? Wonderful. All right, what's happening, y'all? So, super fun. I'm having a blast playing this new Lunar Crash. I think we're really getting it and doing the best version of this that we've ever had. And thanks to Joe Pillai and all of the folks over at Zildjian, Jordan Wright and Joe Testa and all those guys have been working hard on getting this thing dialed in, and it comes out the end of this month. So that's exciting. Go to Zildjian.com and check out the concept shop to order one of these. I've been getting a lot of questions about it. When's it coming out? And is it going to be available? And the answer is yes. It's going to be available, and it's coming out at the end of this month. And another thing I'm super excited about is having made this record with Eric Krasno. And it's a tribute to women in music, and it's paying homage to some of our favorite female artists. And that song was You Know I'm No Good by Amy Winehouse. And we have tunes by Aretha Franklin, Nina Simone, Sharon Jones, Billie Eilish, Casey Musgraves, and Brittany Howard. The list goes on, and I'm super excited about this record. I think it's some of the best stuff I've ever done. The whole record has a vibe to it. So that was one of the tunes from this record. And then other fun stuff, I got this new 24-inch bass drum. I took this out on a 2-week tour with Les Claypool, so that was super fun. And then Nick and Tony worked in here to lay down some new carpet. So that's really good for us because it cleans up our shots and it makes things nicer and cleaner and more enjoyable to be in here. So thanks to Nick and Tony for doing all that hard work. And then Nick's working on a new shot right here. So yeah, love it. And then Nick's got a new Nick cam, so we'll get to that in just a minute. So even though I've been super busy this summer, and also one of the greatest things that I did this summer was bring my daughter to college. So that was beyond exciting. And we had a great father-daughter trip leading into that. So that was wonderful. And all of that has just made for a really great summer. And of course, I've gotten to spend some time with my wife, Lauren, who may be watching, and I'm gonna go home and relax with her tonight. And so I've been getting some really great time with my favorite people this summer and making some music. And we're gonna take some questions and talk about drums and music, and we can talk about food too. So yeah, lots of fun, exciting stuff. Nick, are you seeing any questions, comments, gripes, or complaints?
No gripes, no complaints, but I don't know. I haven't got a chance to read them yet.
Okay. Well, I'll talk a minute and I'll let you read questions. So what we're going to do during this too is we're going to offer a special sale offer on subscriptions to the Drum Academy. So my online drum school, Stanton Drum Academy, where I demonstrate all kinds of stuff that you might want to know from me. Things like stickings and how I develop my buzz rolls and different grooves and different rudiments that I apply to the kit. There are now 40 Academy lessons. The latest one is focused on push-pull and shank tip, and something I'm calling the Tony Deitch hammer, which is all explained in Academy Lesson 40, and that just came out inside the Academy, and we're doing a 35% off offer during this live, and so the code is live35, and you get a 14-day free trial. So if you don't like it after within 14 days, you can leave without being charged anything. So let me just mention that while we're talking about things. Live 35 to get 35% off. of all subscriptions, whether you want to do the monthly or the annual. So if you've been thinking about joining up for my online drum academy, now's a great time. Got a sale offer, 14-day trial, and brand new lesson just dropped the other week. So, and we're working in here all the time, recording, filming new stuff, and that's what we do in here. So there will be new lessons dropping in there all the time. So exciting, fun stuff, man. It's like, wow, new record in the works. Galactic has a new EP that we're gonna be getting out next year. So I go and do a 3-day session with Galactic next week. All exciting stuff, man. Wow. Daughter in college, 24-inch bass drum. Lunar Crash comes out at the end of this month. Life is good.
Man, you've been 50 for like a month, and look at all these great things that are happening.
Look at all these great things. I've been 50 for a month. So, yeah. You know, I'm trying to be the best version of myself
50's great.
in my 50s. So, very cool. Okay, so Nick, you want to show people your new Nick cam?
Hello, here's the Nick Cam.
Here's the Nick cam. Nick himself is a great drummer.
What's up, y'all? How's it going?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nick's a great drummer, and I learn a lot from Nick. And it's great to work in here with Nick because I'll play something and he'll be like, yeah, you can do better than that. And I'll be like, you're right.
Yeah, but I've gotten countless little mini lessons in here working with this guy, so it's
a great reciprocal relationship. I played the Bayou Bar last night. Nick came and filmed some of that, and we played a tune. We played Recordame, and I got to play some of the Brazilian stuff that I've been shedding.
It wasn't too shabby.
It wasn't too shabby?
It wasn't too shabby.
It's coming along. Well, I've learned a lot of that stuff from Nick. Nick's been like, yeah, no, you got to do this. And he even had some critiques from last night that I'm going to work on.
Hey, but you did a great job.
Thank you, buddy. Thank you.
Nailed it. Great.
I'm in shedding. Oh, why don't we go? I'm going to go ahead and play that. You know, I'll be honest with people. It's like, I mean, I just haven't had an opportunity to play a lot of Brazilian stuff. I've been touring, playing funk for 25 years. I love swinging out. I love playing with brushes, but it's not what I get to do all the time. So it's an ongoing pursuit for me. So I'm shedding that stuff all the time. And I love playing the Bayou Bar with Peter Harris. And we played with David Torkanowski last night because it gives me an opportunity to play that stuff. And I play Snug Harbor with my trio, but Snug hasn't been open on Tuesdays. So I've been playing with Peter when I can, when he calls me up to do it. So I've been shedding Brazilian stuff lately. So why don't I go ahead and just show everyone some of the stuff I've been working on, put myself on the spot.
You got this.
You got this. You got this, buddy. Nick was telling me I need to lay into the 2 and the 4 more.
Only the 2.
It's the 2. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Brazilian is 2. So that was a little quick. So I'm gonna slow it down and play it a little slower and work in some of the stuff that I've been shedding. I've been working on getting that Brazilian boom, and doing that with my left hand, right? Against the 1 EN, 2 EN, 1 EN, 2 EN. So check this out. How was that, Nick? Was that better?
Great.
So, and Lauren has had to listen to me shed this, because I'll shed it. I've got quiet drums in the house with silent heads, silent stroke heads, and Zildjian low volume cymbals, and that's great. That's awesome. I love shedding on that, but there's nothing like shedding on real drums. So I'll get it to a certain point, and then I'll go and play for a little while on the acoustic drums. And Lauren has had to listen to me work this out a little bit at the house. So, but there's a lot of stuff that I've picked up on from Nick, and he'll tell me, oh, you got to do this, and you got to adjust this, and you got to lay into that too on the bass drum a little bit more, and you're swinging things a little bit. I was swinging that, push, boom, boom, da-dum. I was swinging that a little bit too much.
To New Orleans, bro.
To New Orleans, bro. And then, so Nick helped me dial that in a good bit, and my wife helped me. She helped me by listening to me work it out. So it's a group effort over here. But I wanted to do that to show you that like I'm still shedding stuff. I love shedding. I love practicing stuff, and sometimes it takes a while to get it to where I'll debut it in public. But putting yourself in the hot seat, whether it's on a live or whether it's on a gig, that's how we get better, right? And I'm doing that all the time, man. I'm shedding stuff all the time. So, Nick, have you had a chance to look at some of these questions?
Lots of good questions.
Lots of good questions? All right, let's roll.
All right, so first question, let's see, who is it from? What's his name? Well, the question is about ghost notes. This is from Daniel Lemus. It says, what's your approach to ghost notes? What do you recommend to play better ghost notes?
Okay, that's a great question. So Clyde Stubblefield is a great place to start for ghost notes. He is, in my opinion, one of the absolute masters. And what's so great about Clyde is that you're pretty much going to get all of your ghost note options with Clyde. So take something like, I've made up lots of kind of exercises to work on Clyde's stuff, but take something like, let's take something like I Got the Feeling, right? Now I'm putting myself on the spot because I haven't played this in a while, but I'm going to play it and I'm going to show you why this is everything that you can do with ghost notes in 1 2-bar beat, right? So here we go. I'm putting myself on the spot. Hopefully I can play this. All right, so now that's the beat, but now I'm going to slow it down and I'm going to try to play all of those ghost notes quieter. Okay, now granted, this is a lot, but I'm going to slow it down. I'm going to try to play those ghost notes quieter, and I'm going to count it off so you know where the 1 is. The 1 is not played on the bass drum, right? So 1 2 3 4, don't ga don't ga do that goon that do 1 ga don't that I got the feeling. Doom, ba, ding, ding, the baby, I got the boom, junk, ga, goom, ga, baby, I got the 1, right? So I'm gonna slow it down though. Check it out. Now, I can remember one summer, it was July and August, and Robert Mercurio and I were living together in a house on Melpomene, and it was so hot. I bought myself a new window unit, and I remember it was an exorbitant amount of money at the time. It was a few $100, but for me, it's like I was a gigging musician, and I invested in this air conditioner so I could move my drums up into my bedroom, which was across the hall from Robert, from his bedroom. And I put my drums in the bedroom and I shed all summer long with this new window unit. And one of the things that I shed a lot in that summer, over and over and over, different tempos, playing it real slow, just like that, was the second bar of this beat. Okay, so this is I Got the Feeling, second bar. This is gonna give you so much control because you've got to play a grace note before the backbeat, and then you got to play a grace note after the backbeat, okay? And I would just shed this and try to get it quieter every time, all right? And I'm gonna slow it down, and this is the second bar of I Got the Feeling, and this is almost all the grace notes you need to know in life. Check it out. Now, if you need to slow that down even more, do that. If you need to slow it down more than that, do that. But could you tell that I was trying to play the grace notes softer and softer every time? And then really what Clyde's doing, it sounds like what he's doing, is playing that just quarter notes, which is really hard to play just quarter notes, because then you're playing the quarter notes in the hand and the bass drum on the upbeats, on the ands, and then the left hand is filling in. So it's really a coordination challenge. Check it out. Right? So I'm gonna wind up doing a whole lesson, or maybe even a few lessons on grace notes in the Academy. Thanks for reminding me about that. Nick, remind me we're gonna film that. That might be Academy lesson 44. We've got like...
Are we on 44 already?
Yeah, we've got, well, we're on 40. We just released 40 or 41. And then the next 4 are written. And we have to film those, and then this will be maybe number 45, grace notes. Thank you for that question. You see, you ask, and then we demonstrate, and then we film it, and I write it out in PDFs. It's all downloadable PDFs too. All of the lessons have accompanying PDFs. So instead of putting out a new DVD and a new book, I've been putting out lessons in the Academy.
So we got lots more questions.
Great.
It's kind of a catch-all. All kinds of. First of all, thanks Stan for complimenting the carpet when they told me I would be putting in carpet. They didn't tell me I'd be putting in carpet when I went to jazz school. So.
Is that Big Stan?
Big Stan.
How's it look, Stan? How are we looking over here?
This is sounding great. Love the new dark carpeting.
It's better, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah. One thing I learned from that whole experience is that I don't want to be a carpet installer person. Next time I'll leave it up to the professionals.
I know. But we have so much drums in here.
Yeah.
And then the warehouse downstairs is filled up with supplies that we need for Tipitina's warehouse, Tipitina's record club. So there was nowhere to put anything. So I couldn't get anybody else other than Nick and Tony to like
a lot of moving around,
move drums to one part, and they made it happen. Here we are.
So I'm gonna kind of jump around. But Nikos, our buddy Nikos out in Greece.
What's up, Malaka?
It says since for our opening track we did the unreleased Krasno More track, and Nikos basically asking. How did you come up with the groove concepts? Was it a result of jamming together? Did Krasno have specific drum beats in his mind, or was it a mix of all these deals? What was the process?
So, Nikos, I'm glad you asked. That's an incredible question. So, the way that Kraz approached me during Jazz Fest and say, hey man, what would you think about playing together more, and maybe like actually kind of starting a band together and doing a record? Our first record could be a covers record, because Soul Live, the record that they did, Rubber Soul, he's like, it came together quick and it was our most successful record so far. So, it would be a good way to get the ball rolling is to do a covers record. And I said, great. He said, it should have a theme. I said, okay, cool. So he threw out maybe like songs that we grew up with or, something like that. And I said, what about all female artists? And he said, that's great. So of course, it's endless, limitless how many great, amazing songs there are from female artists. So we started brainstorming and came over to the house a couple times through Jazz Fest, and we hung out and brainstormed, and what about this song? What about that song? We started a playlist, and we would be talking, and Lauren would be DJing, playing some of the songs that we thought about. So Kraz's wife is also named Lauren, and her and his son, they came over to the house, and we talked and brainstormed. And so for this particular song, I had just been thinking about my good friend Carlo Nuccio, and I'm sending love to my good friend Carlo. And, I heard the Amy song and I just started thinking, man, wouldn't it be cool to put a Carlo feel on this? And instead of just doing it, Carlo's drawing from Earl Palmer. So I hadn't really heard anybody do kind of a boogaloo, almost like a boogaloo, New Orleans boogaloo, bossa nova feel with eighth notes playing at the same time. So we've all heard this, right? And then we've all heard this, right? I mean, that's Earl Palmer, which, of course, John Bonham borrowed from Earl Palmer's drumming and Charles Connor's drumming to come up with the intro to rock and roll. So I was like, it's not like I thought to myself, I just heard it and I felt it and I was like, wow, okay, what if I come up with kind of like, Johnny Vodakovich likes to talk about, think about a camel walking through the desert. And then we were in a Zoom, so we did a lot of Zoom rehearsals where I was sitting here at the drums. Kraz was on Zoom with a guitar in his hand, and Eric Finland was on Zoom at a keyboard. And I was like, oh man, for that Amy song, what about this feel? And I played that for him on Zoom. And they were like, oh, that's cool. So I laid down the loop of that beat, and then Eric Finland put down the organ, and then Kraz had been doing a session and he had a lot of reverb on the guitar, and he said, well, let me just try this sound. And he played that sound, that real reverby guitar sound, on top of what was a loop of that beat and Eric Finland laying out the bed of the song. And when Kraz sent it to me and Eric Finland, we all were like, wow, this is a vibe. Like, this is killer. So we all got psyched, and Kraz wanted to do Billie Eilish Lost Cause as kind of a 16th note thing, which I thought about you, Nikos, when we did that. So he sent me a beat, but he's like, it doesn't have to be exactly this beat. So I came up with a beat that, based off of his beat, but it was just a 16th note funk thing, right? And then I wanted to do a Pondero type of thing, so I did a Pondero groove on a Sharon Jones thing. It was awesome. We did Aretha Franklin, You Make Me Feel Like a Natural Woman. So I put bandanas on all the toms and got a real thuddy tom feel, and that was a 12/8 feel. But I put a little bit of like a Steve Gadd left foot thing in there, right? So it's something a little bit like this. And then, we did Fever, and we did it as a shuffle. So I played brushes on the beginning, and then I did a quick switch to sticks, and we got Branford Marsalis as the guest on that. We got Corey Henry on keys as a guest on, somebody's phone's ringing. But, and then we got Corey Henry on keys as a guest on the Brittany Howard tune, Stay High. And then we got Robert Randolph as a guest on a Nina Simone tune. So very, very, very cool guests on the whole thing. And it all just came together through collaboration. And what was super fun about this project is that, there were no bad ideas. But what I mean by that is that anybody who threw out an idea, we were all supportive of it. And let's at least try that. So it was really cool. So I can't wait for people to hear this record. I'm super proud of it, but it was very much a collaborative effort.
All right, we got some more questions.
Thanks for that great question.
I think this is going to be a combo question.
Oh, and before we move on from that real quick, let me just say for all the people who are SMDA members, I did no drum play-alongs for each one of the tunes, so those will be available in the Academy. So I'm also going to do a whole course on a lesson on probably 4 or 5 of the tracks, and then include those play-alongs. So I'm excited about all of that. So that's something to look forward to for all of you Academy members tuning in. I'm sorry, Nick, to cut you off. Go ahead.
There's funny stuff going on here.
Oh, nice. Give everybody your Nick cam because it looks so good now.
All right, hey.
Hiya!
All right, so this is gonna be a combo question. I'm gonna basically take like 3 questions and put them all into one.
Okay.
We got some comments about the new bass drum.
Yeah.
So briefly talk about what the bass drum is. Second, talk about your thoughts on depths of drums, and I think that could definitely tie into this bass drum. Third of all, talk about drum head choices.
Okay, great.
And go.
So this bass drum, I've been wanting to simplify things a little bit and try playing with just one bass drum with Galactic. And I thought about doing a 22, but that just seemed to be too standard. And so I was like, I really like, a 26, I just felt too big. So I really like it when the bass drum beater does not hit in the center. So I was like, maybe a 24. So I talked to Paul Cooper at Gretsch, and then also Carrie over at Revival Drums. I talked to the guys at Revival Drums, and they let me set up a 24-inch bass drum, Gretsch bass drum, with a different kit, toms, 12, 14, 16. And I played it, and I was like, oh man, this is like a mini Bonham kit, because everything is 2 inches smaller. Bonham played 14, 16, 18. This is 12, 14, 16. He played at 26. This is 24. So it's like a little mini Bonham kit, super cool, and I just absolutely love it. It was done in time for the Les Claypool tour, so I had it sent out to that, and I opened it up on the first day of Les Claypool tour, and I used it for that. But this kit is going to be the new Galactic kit with a 24-inch bass drum, and it is it's a Gretsch USA custom and it matches this ruby red kit that I've had for a while. And Kevin Lehman asked me, oh man, so he has a replica of with the 20 and the 26. He's like, do I need to get a 24 now? Kevin, I love this 24. You might have to get a 24. Okay, depths of drums. I love a 14-inch deep bass drum. I just think it's the right size. It's the right depth. I do like an 18-inch depth on a 22 because usually on a 22, the beater hits right in the center. And a 14-inch depth on a 22, that doesn't have a lot of time for the sound waves to develop. So a 22 has always been a little flat for me. It's just a little, too slappy, flat, and just not enough sound development. And 18, the sound develops because the beater hits off the center of the drum, hits above the center. On a 26, it hits below the center. 24, 18 is a little too small for Galactic. 26 is a little too big just for the main kit. So I like the idea of a 24, and man, I'm loving it. But I really like that 14-inch depth. If I was going to do a 22, I'd probably do an 18-inch depth so that when you hit in the center, the sound develops over 18 inches. But I just felt like a 22 was a little too common. Not a lot of people playing 14 depth 24 with a 12, 14, 16. And I just love the classic depths. I think they got it right way back then with the 8-inch deep 12, 14 by 14, and 16 by 16. Ain't nothing wrong with it. If it's good enough for Elvin Jones, good enough for me with the 12-inch tom and the 14, 8 by 12 and the 14 by 14. And so I really dig that.
And so the heads you put on it.
Heads, I used to try different heads. I used to try Ambassador X's. I used to try, vintage Ambassadors and things like that. But I go with coated Ambassadors on the tops of the 12 and the 14. Coated Ambassadors on the 12 and the 14 snare. And then I go with coated Emperors on the floors and the ponderos. These are coated Ambassadors too. So anything 12 inches or smaller or a snare drum is coated Ambassadors. Anything pondero, which is 12 inches, or floor toms, that's all coated Emperors. And then I'm doing clear Ambassadors on the bottoms of all the toms. And then I do a coated Power Stroke 3 on the bass drums. And I do this because when I play rental kits or backline kits, everybody has coated Ambassadors and coated Emperors. So it's a much more even playing field when I'm using the same types of heads if I've got to go and play a clinic or masterclass or a festival or backline kit. And the heads are what I'm used to using, and just the shells are different. And was that the full 3 parts?
That was all 3 parts.
Great.
Nailed it.
Nailed it.
All right. So another question. This is from our buddy Ian Molinaro Thompson.
What's up, Ian?
Yeah. I think this is a really good question, especially since we were just talking about, you were just in the studio, but you were also just on the road with Les Claypool. How do you balance your playing between live and studio playing? Like, what are the things that you have to think about? What are the active things that you do what is your approach?
Yeah, that's a great question, because especially going from Les, where we were improvising and he wanted everything to be different every night, and he wanted us to stretch out and take chances and come up with stuff that we had never done before. So I was very much in that headspace, like trying to come up with new stuff and really stretch. And then in the studio, especially with this Krasno Moore project, we're playing great songs. So I was trying to come up with great parts. I was trying to come up with like singable drum fills and things that I would be proud to play for my wife at dinner, and for my daughter too. I played some of these for my daughter, and she had some input on some of the tunes that she loves female artists, and so, I wanted to create something that I'd be proud to play for the women in my life, and that's not always, chops. I could have, done something like this. Like, let's take, I could have done, that Amy Winehouse song like this. And I was trying to be funny. But instead I played fills like this. Right? That would be a part of the song. That would be a singable part of the song that I would want to listen to thousands of times over and be proud to play for people thousands of times over. So that's the way I'm thinking headspace wise when I'm playing in the studio, is creating things that 20 years from now I'll be able to put on for either the women in my life or one of my buddies or friends and be like, yeah, man, check this out. I did this 20 years ago and I'm still proud of it, right? So that's how I try to think in the studio and create things that people are going to enjoy for a long time. And in live, you can get adventurous and have fun with it. I mean, like when I get excited and I stand up, on things with Galactic, that's me getting excited, and I'm not doing it I'm not like planning it or thinking about it. It just happens. But when I do that, it gets the audience excited, right? And it's a thing about drawing that audience in and getting them excited. I would never do that in the studio, right? It's like, it's not something that's not necessarily going to sound great in the studio, just like, stick tricks don't sound great in the studio either. So.
Who's that? Morello? Joe Morello said that?
Yeah, Joe Morello, I think, said that. So, it's a slightly different headspace. Some guys like to play a lot softer in the studio and then really use compression and use the studio as a tool to really crush things and make it sound great. So, when I do go in the studio, well, I'm in here a lot, and I'm starting, we're going to start really trying to dial things in here a lot more. But when I do go in the studio, usually it's like sandwiched between a lot of live stuff. So, I usually have a bit of a live drummer's approach to things. So I don't come in and play super, super soft and then really know exactly what to do to it to get exactly what I want. I usually play a little less, and I play like I'm trying to play for posterity. I might play a little softer, but I also try to play like me, and that's the thing too. So if I spend all my time in the studio, I might approach that a little differently, but I'm always going back and forth. So I hope that helps answer your question.
All right, we got some more questions. I think this is a good one, and I'm gonna tie it into another question too. So we have La Batterie. I'm sorry, I can't speak French. La Batterie par improvisation. This is from Orléans, France, and the question is basically like, not being from New Orleans, where do you start in learning New Orleans music? And do you start from Baby Dodds or do you start somewhere else? And I think another, there's so many aspects of New Orleans music. You know, someone asked a question about brass bands and like some brass band records to check out, and I think maybe you could tie that in also to this whole discussion about where to start
Sure.
with learning New Orleans music.
Yeah, so Baby Dodds is one of the most innovative, influential drummers of all time, right? And created so much that we do on the drum set today. I like to introduce people to things that are a little bit more applicable to things that they might get asked to play on a gig today. So Baby Dodds is great to check out if you're going to be playing traditional New Orleans music, which I love, and I highly recommend you getting into some of that. But even playing Baby Dodds, what I'm about to show you, you're going to need to know this to play Baby Dodds. And that is learning how to play with a feel that is in between straight and swing. And I feel that learning how to play in between the cracks like this is imperative, whether you're playing Baby Dodds or the Meters, or trying to play with Trombone Shorty, or trying to play with any of the brass bands. You're going to need to know how to play in between straight and swing. And the most direct way to address that is to work on Hey Pocky Way, which is a song by the Meters. Check it out. Look it up on any of the sources that you listen to music. If you like to buy vinyl, buy vinyl. If you want to listen to it on Spotify, Tidal, or Apple Music, check it out there. But do buy it, please. And it's Hey Pocky Way. It's all right, left, right, left, right, left, and it's all the three side of the clave, right? So let me just play that for you now and show that to you. Now, if you can't make that feel good, you're not going to be able to make Baby Dodds feel good. You're not going to be able to make any New Orleans stuff feel good. If you play that too swing and lean a little bit too forward on the beat, it's going to be terrible. That's terrible.
Don't do that, please. Please don't do
No,
that.
I can't even do it for that long. It's like, ah!
Stop it.
I don't want it to rub off. But hopefully I've made my point. You've really got to spend time on that, and that's one of the lessons in the academy. So that's I do a lesson on playing in between straight and swing. There's also a lesson on 5 meters tunes based off of that sticking right, left, right, left, right, left. So I think that that's a good place to start. And then, I mean, I could go into this, but these lessons are in the academy. And, since you set me up for it, I might as well say you can try it for free for 14 days. And if you sign up today, you'll get 35% off if you decide to stay, off your monthly or your annual. So you set me up for that. All that information is in there. It's in there, Nick.
Yes.
So with PDFs, downloadable PDFs. But that is a great question. And that's a great place to start for New Orleans music. Playing Hey Pocky Way, dialing in your in-between straight and swing. Because Baby Dodds might play a little bit more swing, and then Russell Baptiste might do it a little bit more straight, but it's all somewhere in between straight and swing, and you've got to start somewhere. And Hey Pocky Way is a great place to start. All right, Nick.
Sorry. Multitasking.
That's all right. Nick's doing the job of 6 people.
Sorry, buttons.
That's all right.
All right. I'm back. Yeah. Is it cool if I just add a little something about Baby Dodds?
Yeah, go
I think
ahead.
one of the most important things about Baby Dodds, because I'm super into the traditional stuff, is Baby Dodds has been quoted that with every soloist, he's thinking about trying to support them in a different way, so it gives us some variety. So I think that's a cool thing you can always get from Baby Dodds is like he's always being musical as well as his feel. He's also being musical, and so for get into New Orleans music, and that's like one of the roots. Musicality is also like very important in all of that study.
Yep, musicality, beautiful.
Yeah, I'm a nerd.
That's all right. But yeah, kudos to Nick. I want to just give Nick a shout out and give him props. He is doing the job of 6 people, and he rose to the occasion. As soon as COVID started hitting, I started opening up my computer and going live on Facebook with like drum pads to just connect with people. And then I started reaching out to Nick. It was like, when we feel comfortable going in the studio, and we came in here with masks on, and it's like, we're going to learn how to stream. He said, I don't know how to stream. I said, you're going to learn.
Right, well, I had plenty of time. All I had was time on my hands. I was locked in my house.
Yeah, and shout out to Jim Toscano for teaching us. Jim Toscano taught us how to stream. If y'all want to learn how to stream, check out Jim Toscano. Also, check out his great YouTube show. He's on Monday nights. I believe he's at 6 p.m. Central. But just check out Jim Toscano. Check out the time. I don't want to get it wrong, but go follow him. Subscribe to his YouTube channel if you're not already. He's a great resource for drumming knowledge and technology knowledge, and a wonderful guy.
What a guy.
He's a great guy. Thank you, Jim.
All right, I got, since we only got a few minutes left, I got some rapid fire questions.
Let's go.
All right, somebody's saying favorite po' boy, roast beef po' boy? I don't think so. What's your favorite po' boy?
Well, my favorite po' boy is the Firecracker Shrimp at Parasols, and they also have, in my opinion, the best roast beef in town. And I have done crazy things like go get one from there and then go get one from the other and cut them into 4s. And me and 3 of my buddies, 4 of us, try a bit of each. And I love Parasols. It's great.
All right, second question. What snare is that you're playing on right now?
Oh, man, that is a great question. This is one of my pride and joy snares. This is a Craviato made for me by Johnny Craviato. And the hoops are engraved by John Aldridge, master engraver. And I'll tell you the story after I show you the drum. But check out this Craviato engraved, had his name engraved in this. But then here's where I nearly burst into tears when I opened this drum for the first time. It had this plaque to me from Johnny Craviato, and then he had John Aldridge engrave my name into this hoop up here. So can we go to this side shot over here so people can see this a little better? So check that out. And I nearly burst into tears when I saw that. I don't know if y'all can see. Oh, that's all right. Give me the overhead shot.
There we go. We'll try the overhead.
Try the overhead.
Yeah, well, yeah, you can kind of see it.
But yeah, it's got a plaque with my, dedicated to me and my name engraved up here, and Johnny's name and his badge over here. And it's a solid ply of bird's eye maple, and I put some 42 strands on it. And oh my God, Nick put the 42 strands on it, actually. It was out of commission for a while because it was...
I think you busted the head, huh?
I think the head was busted. And, a lot of times when we're in here, we're like, okay, Nick's got a gig, so we got to leave at this time. Or I've got a call with Steve and Mary, my SMDA team, and I've got to leave at this time. So, we're both busy working drummers, and we come in here when we can, but a lot of times we don't have all the time that we want. So this poor drum sat out of commission because we didn't have time to fix it. And finally I was like, man, we got to get that drum working. And then Nick went ahead and changed the bottom head. And I said, Nick, I've always wanted to put not deeper, but wider snares on it. And man, I couldn't be happier with this drum. It's one of my favorite drums, and now it's back in working order. And it's just beautiful.
All right, next rapid fire question. When's that Kraz record coming out?
March. So it's coming out in March, and we're already. I don't know if it's. announced publicly yet, but we're already booked to do 4 nights at the Blue Note in New York in March. And then we'll be doing a East Coast run before that and a West Coast run after that. And so the record's coming out in March. And man, I cannot wait for y'all to hear this record. It's one of my favorite things that I've done. It's killer.
Nice. Let's see. We got. It's 6 o'clock now, but you got time for one more question?
Time for one more.
All right. This is what to say. Domalices or guys, po' boys?
Oh man. Well, okay. I love both. I love Domalices. I love guys. And you know, I guess I'm selling myself short in favorite po' boy. I have a po' boy that I created over at Guys Po' Boy. So Marvin over at Guys, I love Marvin. So we used to live next door to there. The Galactic House was next door, and I would come in with these crazy ideas, and I had Marvin make me grilled catfish with grilled shrimp on top with Swiss and cheddar cheese, and it's amazing. And it was called The Bomb for a while, but Marvin was like, I don't want to call anything The Bomb. I'm changing it to the Stanton Special. So that is over there at Guys. And you know, anybody who knows me knows I love food. And so I created that po' boy 25 years ago. And they still have it on the menu there. We gotta go get one, Nick.
Dude, I'm hungry now.
I know. We're gonna go get one, man. We don't go see Marvin enough, man. We gotta go do that.
I went by there like a couple of weeks ago, and he's doing all right. He was more than accommodating.
Excellent.
Great guy.
He's a beautiful dude, man. Go visit Guys Po' Boys if y'all are in town. It's one of my favorites. And then we're gonna roll out in just a minute. But Nick, would you mind looking up the date of our next Wednesday Night Live so I can tell people and you can put it in your calendars? And no, we have our next one planned. The next Wednesday Night Live is next month, September.
Sorry, that's October. September, is it the 21st?
Well, you look that up.
Oh, the 14th.
14th, September 14th. So less than a month away. September 14th, we will be here to do Wednesday Night Live again. And I love doing these, man. Thank y'all for the questions. Please tell your drumming friends about the YouTube channel. Share this channel with your friends. Let them know they got to check us out. Big Stan, big shout out to Big Stan. We got lots of great content planned. Big Stan's coming to New Orleans in September, and we're going to film a whole bunch of content that's going to be going up on the YouTube channel. A lot of behind the scenes stuff. That seems to be some of the stuff y'all really want to see. So maybe let us know some of the behind the scenes stuff that you want to see. Put that in the comments as well, because these comments are going to live up there on the video. Once we are done here, we're going to repost it up on YouTube. So thank you all for tuning in. And let me say one more time, if you want to join my online drum school, Stanton Moore Drum Academy, and get tons of information, and this will help improve your groove. And I'm teaching my students the things that we need to know, the skills to pay the bills as a working drummer. So all kinds of things that are very practical that you need to know. And this is based off of my 30-year drumming career. It's all the information that I want to share with y'all. And that's at StantonMooreDrumAcademy.com. Live 35 will get you 35% off, and there's a 14-day trial. So you can't go wrong. And you can pick either a monthly or a yearly subscription. So thank y'all for tuning in.
Hang on, Stan. Since it's a big conversation on here, and Lauren told me to ask.
Okay, Lauren's here.
What brand of shoes are you wearing?
Oh, check it out. I'm wearing my On Clouds, and in Galactic World we call these Air Dads.
Yeah.
Shamar Allen came up with that, man. So we all started wearing really comfortable walking shoes because we walk through. You know, Lauren laughs at me when I call them running. When I call them walking shoes, it's like, well, I'm not running, I'm walking through airports, walking in cities. So getting these was a big game changer. So you know, I'm gonna work on getting that On Cloud endorsement.
Be an influencer.
So thank you for tuning in, Lauren. I'll be home in just a little bit. I love you with all my heart. And yes, indeed. Thank y'all for tuning in. We'll see y'all September 14th for another Wednesday Night Live. Thank you very much. Good night.